look at that. After all those miles, he's still got the strength to pump it up.
You got to pump it up. Come on, you pump it up.
Good morning and welcome to a very sunny Essex road. It's not necessarily that warm at the moment, unfortunately, although I am in short sleeves. But Jimmy, as ever, is wearing a gilet and some longs. Good old Jimmy. So this morning we're heading out to Finchingfield, which is a beautiful little village and one I've actually only ever seen in the dark because it is part of the route of the 130-mile Dunish Dynamo ride, which, if you haven't already seen my video, I'll leave a link to up there somewhere. But that is effectively a 120-mile ride through the night from Hackney in northeast London to Dunwich on the Suffolk coast. It was an absolutely amazing ride. Part of the route takes you through Finchingfield, and it's got a lovely little duck pond, a nice little bridge over the top of it, lovely pub set back from the pond, but I've never really seen it because I've only ever been there in the dark. So last weekend, Stu and I went out for a ride, just the two of us. Very romantic it was too. Stuart treated me to breakfast as it was my birthday, and it must be said, Stuart pretty much tore my legs off. I don't know what was going on. A few racing driver excuses came out that I wasn't feeling too well. I was a bit under the weather. Excuses. But Stuart was riding so hard, putting the watt bombs down, he pulled a spoke.
I rode so hard I broke a spoke.
And it's annoying that I didn't get it on video because it was a great moment. Flying up a hill, changed gear, and suddenly the back wheel starts flopping around. We managed to fix it enough to get to the calf though, which, as you know, is the most important thing. But he's since had it fixed and he's fighting fit again, so I don't know, let's see how he goes beating me up the hill this week.
He's got a maniacal smile on his face. Pomfret peak.
I think I'm going to let you all down.
Now you're in last there, mate. You just let yourself down.
All the big talk, even posted it on the group. This is where I took Treadway.
So the route to Finchingfield actually takes us through Thaxted, which is the site of my most favourite hill. Descent, that is. It's a 40-mile-an-hour downhill, but then it goes into an absolute monster of a climb. So you take the good with the bad. Right, let's have it.
Here we go.
Ah!
Come on!
Oh no! Oh well, last again. Oh man. And I even put the glasses on first to stop my eyes watering. It's always good when you can see when you're descending at 40 mile an hour.
What are you saying?
I just, you know, didn't go to bed until late.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know,
Yeah, a hard day.
hard day yesterday, full on.
Sun was right in your eyes.
It was, that's right.
Headwind.
And of course you had a tailwind.
Can we blame fuel?
Have you had porridge this morning?
I did have a piece of toast. I don't normally eat.
See, that's the problem. I've not eaten. That's why I didn't beat Stu up here. I haven't eaten.
But I didn't eat last week.
I definitely didn't eat last week. I anti-ate last week. I actually took food out. That's what happened.
Because I've got a haircut, so I'm lighter.
Oh.
Bike lock off, bike's lighter.
That's what it is. When Stu took his bike in to get the spoke fixed the other day, for ages he's had an old lock which he had forgotten the code to, or
It broke.
It broke, but
I couldn't get in it, okay?
the combination lock wouldn't work anymore, so Stu couldn't take it off. And it was quite a heavy old chunky lock.
Thank you.
So now,
Oh, yeah, this is more for your benefit, isn't it?
and now he's had it taken off. So he's obviously a lot lighter. That's how he beat me up the hill. That's what we'll put it down to. It's the weight.
What about Jimmy and Pete?
No, no, sorry, we gotta go. Busy, sorry.
Cut.
How you feeling now? How you feeling? Well, this one came out of nowhere, and of course, Jimmy's at the top first.
It's my turn to be a respectful lover this time.
Okay.
Come last.
I have no idea where we are. No idea. Right, well now we've all got to the top of that hill and caught our breath. Onward So I've never come to Finchinfield this way before, I've never done this route, but there are a few good up and downs. And at the moment, there seems to be a lot more ups than downs. But it's good to see I'm not the only one struggling. Jimmy obviously isn't, but Chris, Stu and I are sort of on the same level. So that's nice to see. But it has reinforced my decision to get a new cassette and derailleur for this bike. You may have seen last week on the community tab, I put a post up asking for opinions because I was looking to buy a new 11 to 34 cassette for this bike, as I'm off to the Lake District in a couple of weeks to do a triathlon, as I've mentioned a couple of times. And the resounding answer was, if you're going to the lakes, yeah, you want a bigger cog at the back. So I've now bought an 11 to 34 cassette, a new medium cage derailleur to handle the bigger cassette, and that will be going on very soon. I may do a video about it, I'm not sure. If you want to see a video of how to change out a derailleur, a cassette, and probably how to re-index all the gears once I've done it, drop a comment below and I'll make a video of it. We've arrived in Finchinfield. What's on the bed?
This is what we wanted. This. Right, let me take you through it. Village green, check. Bench, check. Little memorial, check. Duck pond, check. Cute little bridge, check. Bus shelter, check. Church, check. Dining, pub, check. Cafe, check. Lycra, check. Treadway, check. Brook, check. Pomfret, check. Salmon, check. Check that out.
Can't argue with that.
What Jimmy hasn't pointed out, this hill over here, which is the hill we had to go up on the Dunwich Dynamo. And as I said earlier, I've never seen it in the light before, but looking at it now, it looks absolutely punishing. I'm not sure the GoPro can actually pick it up, so I might swap over to some iPhone footage here so I can actually zoom in and you can see it. But it looks an absolute punisher. I say it looks a punisher, I know it is a punisher. I've ridden up it twice. It's not what you want at like midnight when you're already undernourished and you haven't fueled properly. But this is an absolutely beautiful little village. Right, well that's breakfast finished, and I thought breakfast was just about to come back up as Stuart told us we were going to be going up that hill, but no, we're turning left. Well, having turned left, Stuart has now worryingly told us that we're now going by his memory of this route. So who knows where we're going to end up.
We'll get there eventually.
We're not lost, we're just finding an alternative destination. There he goes. Come on, Jimbo. Oh, so Chris has just stopped Jimmy and I, who are up front, saying, oh, I think Stuart's got an issue back there, he stopped. And we've come back, and Stu, why have you stopped us?
This is my first house I lived in when I was a small child.
So not quite the emergency we were expecting it to be. It's a very nice house, Stu.
Yeah, okay.
So just so I can be clear, just so I don't try and kill myself by being hit by an oncoming car turning around in the middle of the road, we're going to stop in the next village to see another old house of yours.
Yes.
Okay, just so I'm aware.
Get your ears sorted, mate. I said Pete about 12 times.
So that's the problem when you're going downhill at 50, 60 miles an hour. That wind rushing by your ears, mate. You really can't hear, you know.
I mean, there is some level of ignoring, I guess, that goes on as well.
I'd never ignore you, Stu. So we've just stopped because Chris is finding some discomfort with his knee, and I have no expertise in cleat position whatsoever, but I did suggest that maybe his cleat was misaligned slightly. But it's a perfect opportunity, and this isn't a paid partnership, this isn't sponsorship.
Not yet.
Toe Peak. Is it Toe Peak or Top Peak?
Don't ask me.
So Top Peak, Toe Peak? Let me know in the comments. Is it Toe Peak or Top Peak? But yes, this is a brand new tool and it gives me an opportunity to use it. You watch, I won't have the right hex key now to fit it. I've just bought a Hexus X. So let's see how well this works.
Oh.
Then at least you've got a consistent setting. You go right up on the other one.
Just for clarity, this is pure guesswork.
That is absolutely the right position he needs. I can guarantee you.
It's got like a little bloody stone in it.
Have you got a stone?
I've got a stone removal tool.
Don't you just bang it on the...
Done it.
Sunglasses.
Who needs a sexy multi-tool when you've got a pair of sunglasses? So we've now changed both cleats, and the problem was that his right knee was absolutely fine. But now what will happen is his right and left knee will be knackered. But let's see how this goes. Keep us updated, and it will all be down to the Topic Hexus X, available at all good cycling retailers. As our sunglasses, yeah. Look at those bad boys.
All right,
It's good to see you've moved away from red cleats now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had red cleats
I had
before.
no idea. I didn't notice. That's the worrying thing.
So Jimmy, for years, was wearing red cleats, not realising that they allowed for absolutely no float or movement whatsoever. But Jimmy, being the natural athlete he is, never had a problem with it. And he still beat me up hills, rode for hours, and still never had any knee problems. If you've no idea what I'm talking about with pedals, I'll leave a link to my pedal explainer video up here. Go and give it a watch. So, just going back to the triathlon very quickly, it's actually a charity event run by Action Medical Research, who I only recently realised is the charity that Garmin sponsor for a lot of their events, including the Garmin ride out in the New Forest last week, which I very sadly was unable to get to. Action Medical do some absolutely fantastic work in funding medical research into a number of childhood conditions and diseases, and so it's a really worthy and worthwhile cause, and I'm really happy to be raising money for them. So I'll leave the link below if you want to help out Action Medical Research by helping to fund some of their research and giving some well-deserved donations. Link in the description below. Thank you very much. Right, well, it's obviously warmed up because Jimmy is now, well, the gilet's already come off and now he's taking the base layer off. It must be warm if Jimmy's taking off layers. Show us those hips that you were showing us last night.
I need some 90s R&B.
He had the snake hips out last night. And that brings me to a very important point. I think this might be why you're beating me up the hills today, Stu, is because Jimmy and I were up till late last night dancing in my kitchen. Or it was late, wasn't it? It was at least 9:30 p.m.
No, 9:45.
Oh, 9:45, sorry, it was 9:45. I was left tidying up the house after a party until 1 a.m. So now Jimmy's covered up, I can actually turn the camera on. He has left a vest base layer on, and I don't know if you can see that big shining orb up in the sky there, but it is quite warm. So unfortunately, moving the cleat position on Chris's shoe has done nothing for his knee pain. So unfortunately, I don't think I can call myself a professional bike fitter just yet. Is he all right? Where's he going? Oh, so we've just pulled into the road and Jimmy's nowhere to be seen. He's disappeared off up the road, we think, to get an extra half a mile in for some reason. He's literally gone. What was that little performance?
39.84. Can't have that.
40.21. That's better.
Good ride.
Loved it.
Gentlemen.
Good one.
Gentlemen.
Smashing.
Right, well, we're back. Ride over. And this is normally the bit where I would do a lovely little monologue to camera. However, Stuart's now with me because in the week I saw on Facebook Marketplace another free junk bike, effectively, that I am going to turn into a gravel bike for Stuart.
It feels like I'm behind the velvet curtain.
And here it is. There she is, Stu.
Blimey, you thought my bike was heavy.
The tyres need pumping up.
A little bit.
Right, hang on. Just brief musical interlude. Right, let's get the wheels pumped up and see if this bike actually runs. I have just noticed, like Jimbo's, it does have an American BMX style one-piece crank. Definitely is gonna need changing. Although as well as the one-piece crank, it has side pull calipers, which work perfectly with road bike drop shifters. Yeah, oh, it's going. He's off. Can you actually change gear? Is it changing gear?
Just sort of wiggled a bit and that made a noise.
And that is the full extent of Stuart's mechanical knowledge. I have to say, I know I've discussed this before. This is a very budget 90s mountain bike, but the frame is still solid. The frame is very solid. It's made of steel and it is very heavy, but the frame is all you really need when you're building a gravel bike. And these old 90s steel mountain bikes just go forever. There's absolutely no rust on this thing whatsoever, and it's an absolute gem. It is a little bit sun faded on top, but as Jimmy pointed out in our WhatsApp group last week, we're all a little bit sun faded. So yeah, this should be a pretty decent rebuild, building this up into a gravel bike for Stuart. And then a couple of weeks ago I found an Arden Black Russian to convert for Chris, so we can all have gravel bikes and go out and do a bit of gravel riding. So if you want another gravel bike conversion video, this one will probably be, if I'm quite honest, largely the same as Jimmy's, but there might be a few little bits and pieces that are different to it. But if you want another gravel conversion video, again, leave a comment below, let me know, and I'll make another conversion video. So I'll leave the video here, guys, but thank you very much for watching, and I will leave a link below again for the triathlon we're doing the next couple of weeks. If you would like to donate, thank you very much from me, from Stuart, who will also be there, and from Action Medical Research. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.